This presentation focuses on thinking, language, and intelligence, which is a domain of cognitive psychology that focuses on our higher mental processes. Psychologists define thinking as brain activity in which we purposely manipulate mental representations of information. A mental representation may take the form of a word, a visual image, a sound, or data, or any other sensory modality that is stored in memory. One of our most important thinking abilities is the capacity for creative thinking. Creativity is the ability to generate original ideas or solve problems in novel ways. Several characteristics are associated with creativity. For one thing, highly creative individuals show divergent thinking that generates unusual yet appropriate responses to problems or questions. This type of thinking contrasts with convergent thinking, which is thinking in which a problem is viewed as having a single answer and which produces responses that are based primarily on knowledge and logic. Another aspect of creativity is its cognitive complexity, or preference for elaborate and complex stimuli and thinking patterns. Another of human cognitive abilities is the ability of language. Language is the communication of information through symbols, arranged according to systematic rules. It is our central cognitive ability, one that is indispensable for us to communicate with one another. Let's look at the process of language development in children. It starts with babbling, which are speech-like but meaningless sounds that happen from around the age of 3 months through 1 year. An infant's babbling increasingly reflects the specific language being spoken in the infant's environment, initially in terms of pitch and tone, and eventually in terms of specific sounds. By the time children are approximately 1 year old, they stop producing sounds that are not in the language to which they have been exposed. It is then a short step to the production of actual words. In English, these are typically short words that start with B, D, M, P, and T. After the age of 1 year, children begin to learn more complicated forms of language. By age 2, the average child has a vocabulary of more than 50 words. They produce 2-word combinations, the building blocks of sentences, and sharply increase the number of different words they are able to use. Just 6 months later, the vocabulary has grown to several hundred words. At that time, children can produce short sentences, although they use telegraphic speech, sentences that sound as if they were part of a telegram, in which words, not critical to the message, are left out. Rather than saying, I showed you the book, a child using telegraphic speech may say I show book. Overgeneralization is a phenomenon by which children apply language rules even when the application results in an error. There are many theories on language development. One of them is the learning theory approach. It suggests that language acquisition follows the principles of reinforcement and conditioning. This view suggests that children first learn to speak by being rewarded for making sounds that imitate speech. Nativist approaches view language as an innate skill. The linguist Noam Chomsky argued that humans are born with an innate linguistic capacity that emerges primarily as a function of maturation. According to his nativist approach to language, all the world's languages share a common underlying structure that is pre-wired, biologically determined, and universal. Chomsky suggested that human brain has an inherited neural system that lets us understand and structure language, a kind of universal grammar. The interactionist approach suggests that language development is produced through a combination of genetically determined predispositions and environmental circumstances that help teach language. Let's now consider intelligence. The term intelligence can take on many different meanings. People from different countries and cultural backgrounds tend to have varied ideas about what intelligence is. Psychologists consider intelligence to be a multidimensional concept that includes different types of intelligence. One example is fluid and crystallized intelligence. Fluid intelligence is the ability to reason abstractly. It reflects information processing capabilities and reasoning. In contrast, crystallized intelligence is the accumulation of information, skills, and strategies that people have learned through experience. It reflects our ability to call up information from long-term memory. In contrast to fluid intelligence, which reflects a more general kind of intelligence, crystallized intelligence is more a reflection of the culture in which a person is raised, and it also tends to improve as we age. A psychologist, Howard Gardner, has taken an approach very different from traditional thinking about intelligence, and he has developed a theory of multiple intelligences that has become quite influential. Gardner argues that we have a minimum 8 different forms of intelligence, each relatively independent of the others. According to Gardner, we have musical, bodily and kinesthetic, logical and mathematical, linguistic, spatial, interpersonal, intrapersonal, and naturalistic intelligence. In his view, each of the multiple intelligences is linked to an independent system in the brain. Furthermore, he suggests that there may be even more types of intelligence, such as existential intelligence, which involves identifying and thinking about the fundamental questions of human existence. Normally, any activity encompasses several kinds of intelligence working together. The concept of multiple intelligences has led to the development of intelligence tests that include questions in which more than one answer can be correct. These provide an opportunity for test takers to demonstrate creative thinking. Standard intelligence tests are also devised to quantify a person's level of intelligence. These tests have proven to be of great benefit in identifying students in need of special attention in school, diagnosing cognitive difficulties, and helping people make optimal educational and vocational choices. The displayed picture shows the distribution of IQ scores in the general population. An average IQ score is 100. If you score above 130, you are considered to be gifted. A score below 70 is considered mental retardation. The IQ tests most frequently used in the United States were devised by a psychologist, David Wexler, and are known as the Wexler Adult Intelligence Scale and a children's version, the Wexler Intelligence Scale for Children. It seems like an IQ score is not a stable measure at all. One reason for that is that students tend to score lower during the summer months and higher during the school year. Also, children's IQ test scores can vary from year to year depending on factors like their lives at home and their nutrition level. Sometimes an entire country's IQ goes up at once. Test makers have also found it difficult to devise test items that assess experiences common to all cultures because past experiences, attitudes, and values almost always have an impact on respondent answers. This concludes the presentation on thinking, language, and intelligence. Please review these concepts in your textbook.